A transmutation jar is literally just witchy alchemy in a jar. Think of it like picking up all the crap that you don't want, like that heavy, annoying energy, flipping it into something that actually works for you. It's kind of like a magical makeover, but for your energy. So why do we do it? Because sometimes you got shit energy that needs to glow up, and this is your tool to handle it. Or some people are sending you some shit energy, and you want to transmute that into a glow up. Okay, we're talking abundance, prosperity, whatever the case is. And there are a ton of different types of transmutation jars that you can make, like ones for specifically like online energy, more for in person, for work, etc. So let's go ahead and just jump into this, and if anyone's interested in a specific type of transmutation jar, let me know and we'll turn this into a series. So I'll see you in a second. Hello, thank you so much for being here today. I'm going to be telling you guys about how to make a transmutation jar, which is very simple. Well, it can be very simple, and it's very powerful. It's going to take in a lot of heavy energy and break it down into something useful for you. So this is different from a baneful transmutation jar. Okay, there's a bunch of different types of transmutation jars. We'll get into that later. But instead of shredding and weaponizing the poison someone's sending to you, a regular transmutation jar is focusing on recycling energy in your life that feels stagnant, heavy, toxic. Okay, think of it like compost. You're creating a container that digests all that leftover weight. Okay, your stress, your anxiety, your doubts, or even just the bad energy that you pick up from other people, and transforms it into something that feeds your strengths. It's one of the cleanest, most sustainable ways to keep yourself balanced. So let's go straight into what you're going to need and how to build this jar, because the magic is in the details. First is the vessel. You can use any jar that you have, but make sure that it is one that you can seal tightly, okay? Mason jars are perfect, but an old pasta jar, that'll work just as well. Whatever you got. The important part is once you close it, you don't plan on reopening it. Second is the base. This is the liquid that acts like the stomach acid of your jar. Vinegar is a great option. Alcohol works too, or even plain water if that's all that you have. What matters most is that you set the intention that this liquid is here to dissolve and break down whatever goes inside. Then the shredders. These are going to be your nails, pens, glass shards, really anything sharp. Okay, they symbolize the breaking down of energy into smaller, more manageable pieces. With me? Okay. And then the herbs. So think of these as the flavors of the digestion process. It sounds gross. Mugwort, lavender, rosemary, nettle, chili flakes, all from your kitchen. All these are going to bring different qualities. Mugwort and rosemary are going to help with clarity and vision. Lavender is going to soften harsh edges. Basil will protect. Nettle will add a little bit of sting, and chili will burn away stagnation. Whatever herbs you feel called to, do your research. Okay, you don't need all of them. Just whatever you feel drawn to or have in hand. Okay. Use as many as you like. And then your binding material. So this is a bit of thread, okay, string, hair will work. It's to tangle up the energy once it's inside so it doesn't just bounce around, okay? Then you need your personal marker. This could be spit, a drop of blood, a fingernail clipping, your written name, okay? It's going to tie the jar to you so it knows whose energy to process. Then we have the sealing process. So we'd prefer black wax dripped around the lid because it seals energy and it adds a protective layer. But if you don't have black, you can use whatever wax that you have. You could even charge a white tea light to take on the energy of a black candle, which we'll get into another time. Then you have the sigil. So you want to draw the sigil on paper and drop it inside, or just write it on the lid with wax or a marker. The sigil should represent transformation, digestion, renewal. I'll be showing you guys mine. It's open for use if you'd like to use it or make your own, okay? But something that makes sense to you. Even like a simple spiral will work because it shows energy going in and changing form. Now let's go through the actual step by step. So first you want to cleanse your jar, hold it in your hands, breathe into it. You are the vessel of change. Then you want to pour in your base liquid until it's about 1/3 full. Then you want to drop in your nails, your sharp objects, whatever you're using, and visualize them shredding heavy energy. Let them know that's what they're doing, command them, and give them that job. Then you want to add your herbs one by one, naming their purpose as you sprinkle them in, okay? Then we're dropping in your binding material, coiled or tangly items to trap what enters. Then we're adding our personal marker, and you will say, you serve me, you transfer my energy, you answer to me, okay? And then if you're prepared, if you've prepared a sigil on paper, go ahead and just add that in, and then you're going to top it off with more liquid if needed, or if you feel that you need to. Then close the lid as tightly as you can. Drip some wax around the lid to seal it, ideally black, but use whatever you got, okay? And then as you drip the wax, you want to focus on locking the power inside, visualize it. Then you want to draw or press your sigil into the lid if you didn't add it inside, or you can double up if you want to. Now we're going to activate the jar. So put your hands around it, breathe into it 3 times, and you say, you digest what weighs me down. You digest the negativity that people send towards me. You transform into strength, abundance, prosperity, etc. Okay. You serve my path. That declaration is what switches the jar from being off, boom, to being on. And once it's activated, you want to place the jar somewhere steady. An altar would be ideal, but wherever it feels right to you. Whenever you feel weighed down, whisper your heaviness into the jar, tap it lightly while you're thinking of what you want digested. That act of feeding the jar is what keeps it alive and working. So now let's talk about how do you use this. You want to place the jar where it can do its job. If you want it to work on your personal energy, keep it near your altar or somewhere that you rest, okay? So it can catch the day's static. If you want to clean up the atmosphere in your space, put it behind the doorway or a shelf that you maybe pass by often, okay? The jar is a slow cooker, basically. It likes repetition more than drama. So whenever you feel heavy, anxious, or foggy, just touch the lid and exhale across it 1 time and say in your normal voice, you are offering this feeling to be digested and to return as clarity. And if you have any written words that carry weight for you, fold a very small slip with those words like worry or doubt, anxiety, whatever it is, and set it on the lid for just a minute before you remove it and then throw it away. The jar does not need a meal of confessions. It needs a clear signal and a steady rhythm. And then you want to feed the rhythm. So think in 3 layers. Daily is your tiny feed, 10 seconds. A breath on the lid, a whispered line, okay? A light tap with 2 fingers when you're passing by. Weekly is your deeper feeding. So choose 1 day a week, okay? Sit for 1 minute or however long you want. Place both hands around the jar, name what you want digested in simple words, and then end with gratitude. You want to wipe the outside of the jar with a damp cloth and a pinch of salt, and then redraw or trace your sigil on the lid so that the software stays sharp. And then repeat your activation line out loud. And remember, our preference is black wax around the lid because it locks and protects the work. But if you only have white, again, totally fine. You can always reprogram your white candles to take on the energy of black candles. We will go into that in the next lesson, but any other candle's fine too. Whatever you got, okay, use it with confidence. Now, how the hell do you know if this thing's working? Inside your body, you're going to notice that you come back to baseline faster after stress. Okay, like the same triggers are going to feel less sticky. Sleep is going to begin feeling deeper. Your focus is going to return more easily. And in your space, you may notice that the room feels lighter or that you take fewer heavy breaths whenever you walk in. And in the jar, you might see the liquid becoming cloudier or darker, and the nails might kind of etch or spot a little bit. None of that is a problem. It's a sign of digestion, okay? In dreams, you might see compost images like snake shedding, waves, tides, or smooth stones. All those are classic transmutation symbols. So keep a short note with 2 lines per day. I fed the jar with breath. I felt steadier by evening. Patterns are going to appear for you in about a week or 2. Keep the jar sealed. Do not reopen after you set it. Think of it like a battery that holds charge. Keep it out of reach of pets and children. If the jar ever breaks, put on gloves. Gather the pieces with paper towels. Pour dry salt over the mess. Wrap everything in cloth and take it outside. Think it for its service, or bury if possible. Return inside. Wash your hands with salt water and air out the room. You can build a new jar whenever you feel calm and ready to do so. When should you retire it anyway? You're going to know that it's complete when you stop reaching for it, when the heaviness that you built it for is gone, when the liquid inside looks very spent and the jar feels very dense, even from across the room. Retiring is a ritual. So speak your thanks, tell it what it did, wrap it in cloth if you can bury it, choose a spot with living soil and sprinkle some salt and clean water. And if burial is not possible, place it inside of a thick bag with some charcoal and dispose of it with respect, okay? Don't open it to peek. The work is sealed. Let the earth finish what you started.